I'm a black man trying not to get caught. I'm just trying to solve the puzzle like a jigsaw. You know it's a big world, so easy to get lost. I'm just trying to solve the puzzle like a jigsaw.
What's going on, family? And we are back for another episode of the Jigsaw. Yes. I am Josh Rogers.
I am Brian Hare.
And welcome to the show. You know what it is. This is the place where we talk about the perils, the praises, the productivity, and the pomp and circumstance of being a real life black person in America. Ooh, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. You know, as always, it's always a great day to be black, and we are here. So God has shined his light on us another day.
He shined his light on us one more time. I'm going to jump right into it. Have you watched Woke like I asked you to?
I have. I've started it. So I think what's going to be great. I've started it. So I think it's a great show.
So this is not officially sponsored by Hulu. If you want to throw some money, you definitely can. Yes. I'm encouraging everybody to check out Woke on Hulu. It is an amazing show. It really follows the journey of this aspiring cartoon artist who's pretty much about to make it and has made it, but then he wakes up based on this kind of unforeseen incident that happened. So it's really dope. Don't be surprised if we talk about it a little bit later. Did you watch Auntie Chella? I know we probably gonna talk about it later, but
I watched Auntie. You call it Auntie Chella? What you gonna call it?
That's how I call it.
I call it Auntie Fest. Auntie Fest. Yeah, I watched Auntie Fest. Brandy, Monica, I need to get it together. I need to get it together. Brandy and Monica, get it together. I laugh.
So speaking of Auntie Fest, we're gonna talk about it definitely a little bit more later. Brian, if you want to introduce a new segment that we're going to start.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This week?
Definitely. We want to introduce what we call Song of the Week, and the Song of the Week for those who watched Auntie Fest, it would resonate with your spirit. Hopefully, it's a song by the name of Superwoman.
I'm not your superwoman. I'm not the kind of girl that you can lay down and think that everything's okay. Boy, I am only human.
That blessed you?
You know, what blesses me more is, and we can talk about it later, but what blesses me more is the chain smoking sounds of Dionne Warwick as she comes in. I find my way through rush hour.
That's definitely she should work them Virginia Slims. What's them?
Light.
She's a classy smoker.
She's a classy smoker. She's like what's the woman on 101 Dalmatian? She probably put it in a holster.
Yeah, Corella. I was gonna say that.
She puts it in a holster.
A little holster. Corella DeVille.
Oh man! All right, y'all. Let's get ready to go into our next segment, man. The Blessed Report. Let's do it.
All right. All right, we want to do the Bless Up Report. Let's talk about a black queen by the name of Naomi Osaka. Yes, she is a black queen. Mama is Japanese, her daddy is Haitian, so she's black. She's black. She's black. So we want to give her the bless up to Naomi Osaka, who won her second U.S. Open championship. Few of those that do not know who Naomi Osaka is, she's the number 3rd ranked tennis player in the nation, in the world, that is. And actually during the U.S. Open, she decided to wear 7 different face masks to honor those who did not receive justice. So since, we believe in saying their names, I'm going to say their names tonight, or today, that is. Tamir Rice, Philando Castile, George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, Ahmaud Arbery, Elijah McClain, and Breonna Taylor. So she decided to wear these masks to, and honestly, interestingly, to kind of protest or stand in some type of solidarity. She didn't say anything, but she actually just showed her support for those that did not receive justice. What I found to be awesome, and I definitely want to give her bless up for, is she used one of the biggest stages in the world. She uses her platform to highlight social injustice. So we definitely always want to support, salute, and protect our black women, especially in times like this when it seems like they are always standing for us black folk. But Joshua, the Karens and the Kevins always have something to say.
Oh, Karen. Oh, Karen.
So anytime anyone, a black person decides to stand up, who is an athlete and stand up and speak on social injustice or issues that mean something to black people, they always want to say, leave politics out of sports. But Naomi had something to say to her haters. She said that all the people that were telling me to keep out politics out of sports, which, she was saying it wasn't really political to begin with, really inspired me to win. You better believe I'm going to try my best to stay on this screen as long as possible. So I found that to be great. She said, F all y'all haters. I'm going to keep winning. Y'all going to have to see me win. So I love that. So bless up to Naomi Osaka for standing up for us and all her people.
Bless up. So you want to head on over to the billboard?
Yes, going over to the billboard.
We got some stuff to talk about. So, as we alluded to as we started off the podcast, Versus, however you want to pronounce it, has been given the culture everything that we needed in forms of these iconic battles. And they've kind of been really diverse. They went to our Caribbean brothers. They started off with like producers and things like that. We've had some rap battles. We've had, some other icons with Babyface and Teddy Riley. But this one was for our mamas and grandmamas and aunties, and it took us back. And Brian calls it Auntie Fest. I've been coining it Auntie Chella, and it was everything. I mean, from the pantsuits to the fact that they didn't know how to read them teleprompters properly.
They knew they was live.
They didn't know they was live. They was having whole baby. How you doing? I think I left my maters on.
You put paprika on your deviled eggs.
I put a little paprika and some garlic powder. That's the secret.
They swapping the recipes.
Asking about grandkids. Patti told me, baby, I got a flip phone.
I am through.
Oh, so overall, bro, like, what was your just overall thoughts of Auntie Fest?
I think the dope thing. It's funny because we went from our generation of Auntie Fest with Brandy and Monica, then we transitioned to a real Auntie Fest, and the change in or the lack of awkwardness from one to the next, where you can tell that these seasoned sisters were friends, so you didn't feel all of that random tension or awkward stuff, and they were celebrating one another, and it felt genuine. So I thought that was kind of dope.
What I also love was that, speaking of that, we talked about is they called Brandy and Monica out for their foolishness. And Brandy and Monica was watching the verses.
Right, commenting and everything.
Commenting and everything. Gladys said, Brandy and Monica, get it together.
Just like an auntie.
just like an auntie. Just get it together.
And
one of my favorite parts was just a couple of things that Gladys Knight's voice is just still butter.
It is. Mm-hmm.
It's just butter. And, like, even to her own credit, like, she knows that she's aged. Because I think she's even said, like, baby, when you get older, your voice drops a little bit. So she couldn't hit some of them notes. And, like, on one part, she said, I got to stand up if I'm going to hit this note. And that was the other thing. Like, they actually sang their songs. They sang on top of vocals. Right. But they sang their songs. Like, even with Patti, like, she can't, like, yodel like she used to. But she can still slide up there a little bit. And just the preservation of their voices and the iconic nature of who they are. And just Patti being completely forgetful of all of her lyrics. All of them. And was unashamed, like, put my lyrics on the screen. That's the wrong
Where
song.
are my lyrics?
Where are my lyrics? She said, baby, we wrote this song in the 70s. I don't know these lyrics. And then from her saying that she her favorite verses was the DMX Snoop Dogg, she said, I wasn't high because I don't smoke that stuff. But I was high with them because the energy was so high.
I don't smoke that reefer.
I don't smoke that reefer. And then all of her unintentional shade, like with Celine, she said, I sang it before Celine. Before Celine Dion.
I'm the originator.
Oh, I am the innovator.
The emancipator.
She definitely pulled a little Richard on us. But no, I thought it was great. And then they brought out, their elder friend and Miss Dionne Warwick. She slow strolled out there.
Sashayed.
It was like, ladies.
Oh, gravel throat.
Ladies, I'm so proud of what you two are doing out here. It's just so beautiful to see two sisters out here. I'm like, Dionne, when you was doing the psychic stuff, did they not tell you that your voice gonna go? that these Virginia Slims are gonna take your voice away, daughter? Mighty God. I've heard somebody say though, watching it was like almost being inside a grown. We got a front row seat to being inside a grown folks' business because you know as kids, I'm gonna say get out of grown folks' business, and that's what that was. I just think it was a beautiful celebration. And my mom, who has not been in tune with the verses, particularly because she don't have Instagram, like she's an auntie officially. She tapped into Facebook though because they knew where to put it.
Facebook knew
these women are not on Instagram. When I tell you, I was not about to deal with Robin Rogers calling me to myself. How I get it? How I want to download Instagram real quick for tonight. I'm not ruining my experience for these technology deficient senior citizen parents of ours. So I'm so glad that they put it on. They put it on Facebook Live so that they can, so that our parents and grandparents and real aunties and uncles could enjoy it. But I really just thought it was love.
Definitely.
Bro. I thought it was love. And from a celebration standpoint, I would argue to say it's probably been the best verses from a celebration perspective.
I think I could wait and think as far as listening about age. I think other than this, the other oldest probably verses was what Babyface and what's the man's name? Teddy Riley, I think was the
and Teddy Riley. But Babyface was sitting there prompt and perked.
Listen,
like the uncle that he is, and but that wasn't really celebration.
No,
I think Babyface was also irritated from the first attempt. Yeah, so he came into the real one like, all right,
let's just do this. But yeah, I think it was really a celebration not only for just the career, but also like the legacy that they've kind of created and still have. Like if you know, and think about this, they not only let's think about longevity, right? So they had great music careers. They still can sing.
Gladys told us she started singing at 4.
Listen, they still can sing, and then on top of the thing about their business acumen, got into food and restaurants and stuff like that, and they're still somewhat relevant. So
absolutely.
So it was dope for them to celebrate one another, but for us, as a younger generation that is, to kind of give them their flowers, but also just let people understand where our foundation in music is. So I thought it was dope.
Absolutely. And I think it's just all right, and I just loved how they celebrated each other as sisters. You didn't really see a lot of competition. I think Gladys even told Patti, "Baby, we've been on soundtracks." We've been and it's true. And I think my mom even told me this stat. She read somewhere that together, they have almost close to 1,000 songs recorded between the both of them alone. Wow. So it just talks about the type of career that they've had, and they've been. I think I heard someone else say in one of their random conversations that writers were sending both of them the same song.
Wow,
and it was that. When somebody ended up getting it and recording it, and that was their song, but there was no beef, there was no animosity. And I think Gladys even said at one point she would. When Patti was in town and she wasn't busy, she would make sure I got to get there because I want to hear this song. I want to so it was beyond just, I think, the fakeness of what we saw with Brandy and Monica. I know your song, but no, I'm a fan of yours. Right. I enjoy your voice. They were on songs together. They've done things together. I think Patti, Gladys even talking about how one time Patti held her baby during a performance, backstage.
That's beautiful.
All those different types of things, right? So I think it was absolutely beautiful. So we celebrate the aunties and they pantsuits because listen, there comes a time in your life when you get to a certain age that you don't really put together looks. You just have an outfit. All your clothes is on one hanger like when you was a toddler, right? It is the suit. Listen, my grandma got a red suit, and now one day she might put on her silver with it. The next time she gonna do the pearls, but it is that one red suit. And these ladies showed us people of a particular age. We don't have time for that.
No, sir.
we gonna give you what we got, and that is it. And I'm sure Patti LaBelle. So going back to Patti and this flip phone, I'm sure she hangs up on somebody very mean. The slam on that flip phone.
A good slam.
Sometimes I wish I still had my rays on. Some people I could just.
So you could know I hung up on you.
It. You know I hung up on
hung
you. You
up.
heard that thing. I probably cracked my screen hanging up on you. But no, that was super, super, super beautiful to watch, and I'm glad that we were able to witness that. And another thing that you said, bro, that was important is that we gave them their flowers while they are alive. So many times I think we wait till people are dead or about to die or whatever before we really celebrate them. So I'm glad they were able to see and feel the love. Hopefully they were able to see some of the comments, because the aunties probably didn't know how to check all the comments. So hopefully one of the grandchildren or uncle, nieces or somebody then showed them how to read all the comments and the love that they received. In less celebratory news, Belle Calise I'm not even trying the rest of her name. Better known as Cardi B. Along with Kiari Cephas. If that ain't the blackest Negro name I've ever heard. That boy's last name is Cephas. Anyway, they after almost 3 years of marriage, they have unfortunately filed for divorce. And as you probably will understand, as two married men, we're not here celebrating divorce. But it definitely happened, and allegedly it was amidst cheating and affair rumors that happened. And my biggest critique really isn't for Cardi and Offset more so than it is for us black men, Brian. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I think a lot of black men, younger black men, gave Cardi a hard time for the one line in the song WAP where she says, "I don't cook, I don't clean," right? And today, I saw a ton of memes suggesting WAP isn't everything. You don't cook, you don't clean. That's why you didn't keep.
You're trash for all those that said that.
Exactly, absolutely trash. And the reason why is because let's keep it a real book. Most of y'all mamas can't cook, because I've had some of y'all.
Somebody.
Hello,
church.
So let's just start there. You thought that stuff was good. It is nasty. Secondly, no shade to our black women or women in general, but a lot of women of this particular generation aren't like our parents, right? They're not cooking. And it's not just what they do. I think they can maintain a home. They can be domestic. But I don't think if you're using cooking and cleaning as a barometer to determine whether or not you want to be in a marriage, that is like should be almost the last thing on your list. And then lastly, it's like women of a particular pedigree are not cooking and cleaning for themselves.
Why does Cardi B cooking? Why?
Right. Let's take your favorite TV mom that we celebrate, right? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Unveiled.
Which one, the black one or the light skinned one?
Either one. And even more light skinned one, right? Because her job was, her job role shifted to be stay-at-home mom, homemaker, and they still had a shift. We never saw her cleaning and cooking. The only time we ever saw Unveil black or the dark skin or light skin, how about I say black or white? dark skin or light skin is when they sisters came in town. They did like Thanksgiving stuff. That was only time Jeffrey was not in there slaving in the kitchen. But otherwise, I make that point to say we can celebrate the Unveils of some of these other people of the world, but then we give Cardi B a hard time because she openly admits that she doesn't cook or clean. That doesn't mean that her house isn't taken care of. Like, they just have chefs and nannies and whatever. So I don't know, bro. But that's my take.
Yeah, I think even within it, to your point, like a lot of our black women are career women.
Yeah.
So they getting degrees and running companies and, doing all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
doing all kind of stuff.
That was never, when I, thank God for my wife. God bless you. Cooking was never like the thing or a list or if I had a list of things that I wanted in a wife. Cooking and cleaning were none of those things. And,
none of those
my
things.
mom taught me how to cook and clean. So that wasn't something that I even cared about. So all those that said that you need to come into 2020 and out of the caveman period and realize that you probably won't ever get a woman
probably
with that
not.
mindset.
With that mindset. And I the one thing I will say, and this is not to go into it, is that good WAP isn't enough, right? And what I mean by that is not enough to be a wife. But what I'm saying is, it is not enough to necessarily stop a person from doing what they're gonna do anyway. Because because Cardi was very vocal about what she would do, how she would please, and all these other types of things. And that gentleman decided to do what he wanted to do anyway, right? So I think it's a lesson to all of us, right? I don't care how wet the wop is, how strong your stroke game is. Like, none of that is going to be enough for somebody who's not committed to the work of staying, you know what I'm saying, in a marriage. So prayers up to them. Because the other thing about this, like, no matter how we look at them as celebrities, that's a real black family that just separated. They have a child. So we definitely, like, I'm not going to trivialize their divorce and their breakup. But yeah, prayers up to them. Prayers up to them and my brother Offset, man. I don't know what else to say. I feel like we're going deeper and deeper into the bottom of the bag. Breonna Taylor's family received a settlement of $12 million. They did. Her family settled a civil suit. Okay. But as cool as that is, right? Her family never asked for money. Right. I mean, I think the civil suit in most cases did what it always does. It gives some type of reprieve because we also know that justice isn't probably going to happen at all. But at the same time, like, her killers are still
free. Out there going to the beach and, you know, living it up, and she dead.
Like, I don't even know if they're on administrative leave. They probably are, but, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know all the details of those murderers. But what I do know is that they have not been convicted or prosecuted or anything. Not even simply arrested and detained. Nothing. But you are flashing this settlement of money as if it's going to appease the black community and appease her family. No, we want justice. Like, pay them they coin.
They deserve
it.
That's cute.
Okay, yeah. They deserve. Yeah. And still, and also her boyfriend needs reparations too. Like, let's do that. But so give them their coin, but on top of that, administer justice to those police officers.
Right. Like, 'cause to me, it's really just publicity. It's really because they want to push the headlines, and usually in most cases, settlements aren't publicized, which I think that probably was in the settlement. Like, oh, we need to tell everybody.
Oh yeah, we're gonna tell you
how much money y'all got, and they wanted to publicize the fact that it was the largest settlement in, you know, Louisville, Kentucky history in terms of Louisville. I'm like, okay, so, but that's clearly it's the I want to throw y'all and show y'all that, you know, excuse me, that we giving her this money because we know y'all gonna be mad when no justice is served. And we as Malcolm X, what Denzel said in the Malcolm X movie, no, we are not satisfied. Until we receive justice. So I, salute to our family.
Speaking of that, totally off topic.
Okay.
I saw this picture.
Okay.
Of this white man.
Oh Lord.
Who calls himself an ally, and he got a tattoo of Malcolm X on his forearm. But Brian, the picture was Denzel Washington.
I need to see this. I need to see this.
It was Denzel Washington. I'm going to, oh my God, let me see, can I find it so I can send it to you. It's Denzel Washington in, like, the Malcolm X, like, costume or whatever that he had in the, whatever you want to call it, in the movie. Somebody posted it on Facebook. When I find it, bro, I promise you, I am sending it your way.
Let me just talk about how Denzel Washington not really ruined, but people don't understand who Malcolm X, what he looks like because of Denzel Washington.
Because of Denzel Washington.
I remember one time somebody on Facebook, our friend Chris, who's been on the podcast. Shouts out to Chris. He had this picture, I guess, profile picture where he, had glasses on and stuff like that. And some fool put in his comments, "Oh, you look like a light-skinned Malcolm X." I said,
yeah, he was light-skinned.
I think last time I checked, Malcolm X was light-skinned.
Here you go.
Ciao. Send that to me. I want to keep that for the records or the archives.
I got you. Like, that's the kind of stuff we don't want, white people. Let's pause for the cause. Like, your performative actions are not necessary. Then you end up looking like a whole fool.
He probably thought
that is Denzel the Washington.
He probably said, you know what? I'm gonna make a statement.
I'm gonna make a statement.
I'm gonna show y'all.
I'm gonna get the blackest man that ever existed tattooed on my arm just so that I can prove No, if you don't get Malcolm Little, better known as Malcolm X, better known as El Haj Malik El Shabazz, out of here, like, brother, you got the wrong man. You missed all those names and went straight to Denzel. Jesus the Christ. Mighty God. But no, we are definitely still praying, advocating, and fighting for justice for Breonna Taylor. Like, it absolutely makes no sense that it's taking this long. And part of the reason is because I can't remember that idiot's name, but the district attorney of Kentucky is being considered for one of the Supreme Court seats under Donald Trump next term if he's successful. So I think he's holding out this kind of stuff and not making any decisions so that it will not affect the possibility of his appointment to that seat. So, man, you're trash for that.
Yeah.
And everybody in Louisville who has anything to do with it, who has any power, all y'all are trash. And you should be doing better. All right. Last but not least, in the billboard this week, McDonald's has a new thing that has all the colored people going crazy. And not just the coloreds, but the saltines, the white people too. Right? They are out here going crazy over this Cactus Jack meal that is named in honor of Travis Scott. So apparently this is, you know how like Popeyes had the chicken sandwich. And Wendy's did the spicy nuggets, and even McDonald's, back in the day, premiered with the McRibs. So you think, oh, the Cactus Jack is gonna be something new. No, it is just nothing new. It is simply Travis Scott's preferred or go-to meal when he goes to McDonald's. Now, there's a few problems here. Okay, I want to know why this man with all this money goes to McDonald's so often, that he has like a regular meal. Two, why are you? I don't even eat McDonald's. Why are you going to McDonald's?
Okay,
there's so many better burger joints.
Five Guys,
right? Even if you kept it local. So anyway, but people were going crazy. So the sandwich. Here's the sandwich. Here's the meal, Brian. Right. It is a quarter pounder with cheese, and apparently he adds lettuce and bacon. Then you get a medium fry with barbecue sauce. Black folk been eating dipping our fries barbecue sauce for years. And then you get McDonald's Sprite, crack infused Sprite. Have you ever had a Sprite from McDonald's?
I have. It's crisp.
Okay, no, that thing is crack. that is the strongest Sprite. I don't know what syrup and carbonation mix McDonald's uses, but that Sprite from McDonald's will probably cure cancer. I don't know what's in that stuff. But that's the meal, bro. It's nothing special. But anyway, people have been going crazy at these McDonald's, and I think at one particular location, Travis Scott showed up, and he was over there signing breasts and kissing babies and touching dogs and all kind of stuff. And yeah, so y'all quit acting stupid over the Travis Scott meal. If you want a quarter pounder with bacon and lettuce, just request a quarter pounder with bacon and lettuce and get you some barbecue sauce to dip your fries in. Like, if you want to get fancy, dip it in some mayo. Get you a little ketchup and add some hot sauce to it. Like, you ain't nothing special about this meal. For this little $6 meal, y'all going nuts. I think it's the pandemic. I'm gonna blame it on Rona. Rona has struck again.
It just changed people's minds. Yeah,
it is struck again. Yeah. So that's it for me, bro. You ready to move into this good old living room conversation?
Let's go into the couch.
Let's go into it. So y'all know what to do. Grab you a drink, grab your snack, grab your water, whatever you're going to do, and we're going to head right into the living room. Let's go.
It's about the love change. Do it with some soul in a little.
All right, here we are in the living room, and
we are here.
I'm excited about this topic because, I really want to repent and ask for forgiveness to my aunties, my uncles, my grandma, my mama.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a young kid, and things weren't going what I thought would be my way. And I would say, the dumbest thing ever, and say, I can't wait till I get grown so I can be out of this house.
Oh my God. Didn't we all say that retarded statement?
So, Mom, Grandma, Uncle Louie, all y'all, I apologize. Because what I found out, being an adult is one of the most, ghettoest things I've ever had to endure or experience in my life.
It is the biggest scam ever created.
Oh, Lord. So it's it's just I don't know. I don't know if the pandemic has kind of increased my level of just frustration with adulting, but it's here. What about you?
I've had a long disdain for adulting ever since I think I was introduced to it freshman year while I was still a child. When my mama found out I had any form of a refund check,
Lord,
that money stopped coming. She was like, this what you need to do. You need to do this and you need to do that. I was like, woman, I am 18. I am not trying to be that responsible right now. And as I got older, the level of responsibility just kept coming. I do think the only benefit to adulting is the level of, I guess, freedom. And I'm saying that very lightly, that you have to be able to kind of do what you want. But when I tell you I would take the luxury of staying at my mama's house and not paying bills and not having to cook, and the only thing I got to worry about is going to school and making decent grades.
Right. It was that easy. I can't believe. I think the thing that made me would say dumb stuff like that was really just not wanting to like clean up my room and listen to simple tasks.
Right, and the fact that I had to be home by a certain time or I couldn't do certain things. Yeah, it was
Renford.
Because I think my youngest son, Jaden, we were driving around and he wanted, I can't remember what he asked for, and I was just like, no. He said, I can't wait till I grow up. And I was like, don't you wish that on yourself?
You don't want that.
You don't want these problems. These big boy problems over here. You don't want those kind of issues. You do not want those kind of issues. But no, adulting definitely is a scam. And I think we have to be, if I'm being honest, a little more responsible in the ways in which we kind of communicate with our children and nieces and nephews about what life is going to bring. Because what I thought adulting was versus what it is totally different. So I grew up believing that, I'm just going to be carefree. And, I go to this little job and I make, in my mind, tons of money. And, I knew that like my parents pay like a mortgage and stuff, but I didn't know how much anything cost. I'm just like, clearly we're still living here. You're paying bills. And, now that I'm here, I'm like, shoot, why is rent so high? And why is my light bill so? Turn them lights off. Matter of fact, I got 2 lights on behind me. One of them need to be off now. Right. So like, no, the whole comparison of what it was versus what it is kind of, I don't want to say mind-boggling, but it's definitely like shocking once you really step into the real world and you are kind of like off your mama's tits, so to speak. Like it's mad different.
It's totally different. I think even the smallest statements like make sense now. Like if I don't know what kind of household you grew up in, but you might be able to relate if you grew up in a black household. You cannot, you must not touch the thermostat or the do not touch the thermostat because
don't you touch that thermostat.
Do not do it. But I understand because once you touch that thermostat, your bill just goes high,
super high.
So I understand stuff like that, but it's really I think when growing up, I did not understand. I don't think it was really expressed to me, like what it all entailed. And, I know my mom used to always say stuff like, my mom did not allow me to have a job in high school. So I know a lot of people who worked, who had jobs, but then they had cars and stuff like that. And my mom was like, no, you can't have a job. All I want you to do is focus on education and just have fun, like play basketball, enjoy your high school days, just be a kid. And like, I just was like, I still couldn't get a job, but I was just like, I don't want to just be a kid because, I ain't got no money. So I want a job. I want to do all these things. And I really just wanted, like I said, freedom. If those that know me know I do not really care for authority. So I just don't like being told what to do. None of that stuff. So
mighty God.
But I don't think my mom really told me like what adulting was going to be. So it was when it came down to it, I said, same thing with you. I thought like, you just go to work, get you a little paycheck. You know what I'm saying? You come and pay these bills and you have money to money to spare. But I remember one time I think my mom was like, I think I wanted something and I was like, "Hey, mom, can I get XYZ?" And she was like,
Yeah.
"I ain't got no money." And I was like, "But you just got paid today. Like, what?
You just got paid
How do you
today.
not have money and you just got paid today? Like somebody lying." But now I get it.
No, I definitely get it. And that was the same thing. I used to always know my mom's payday, like the every 2 week type of thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what you mean? And even to like simple stuff we see it in memes today, like I ain't got no McDonald's money.
Food is at the house.
You got McDonald's money.
You do.
I know you do. Like one time, I'm gonna tell this story. My mama claimed she didn't have no birthday cake money because I wanted Brian an ice cream cake. I think for my maybe 10th, 11th birthday or something
bougie.
like that.
Fancy.
I was a kid. I wanted it.
Fancy.
Woman of God wasn't going to no Baskin Robbins and getting no $30 cake. You know what she did? She cooked. She got a box cake. Now she made it, but it was out of it was a box.
Okay.
She put it in two separate pans so it could be the two sides. And she took a not a tub but a box of Kroger brand ice cream.
Kroger brand ice cream.
Yeah, because it was a square.
Okay.
She broke that box down. She took cake number 1, put it on the table, didn't even melt the ice cream, put the box in the middle, stuck the other cake on top, threw that joker back in the freezer, and pulled it out for me. I said, "But what is this?"
No ice cream cake?
She said, "It's ice cream cake." I looked at that thing. And it was so funny. She couldn't do nothing but laugh. She knew that was how terrible that. I said, "Mama, I could have just quit me a scoop of ice cream next to this cake." But it was in that moment that I actually learned to take like a cup and do like cake, ice cream, and like finesse me some ice cream cake. But no, it's things like that I understand, because there are moments where in adulting, right? As a kid, I didn't get it, but like when my kids would act like my kid's bougie. Okay. So Josh will tell you right now, his favorite food is calamari. As a 9-year-old.
Sophisticated palate.
Right, sophisticated palate. We all about exposure over here. But they also love like seafood bowl. Like Josh loves seafood, all things seafood. So we go to Juicy Crab and places like that. So there was a time I was like, you know what? I'm gonna learn how to do this, and I did it. And like the last few times we've had like seafood boil, like I've cooked.
Okay.
I found the Juicy Crab recipe. Some real good chefs out here that didn't figured out what those flavors are, and it tastes like almost identical to Juicy Crab, right? So like I get it why our parents did it sometimes, and it wasn't always because they were cheap, but they were always, I think, in times looking out for the long term, right? So like me not having McDonald's money doesn't mean that I can't afford your little $5 Happy Meal. But what it does mean for a family of 5, I'm not about to spend $30 in McDonald's. Like I can go take $30 in Kroger and I can buy you hamburgers for the next 3 weeks with $30. You know what I'm saying? So like I get it. Now, was I any less frustrated as a kid? Oh, absolutely not.
Right.
Oh, absolutely not. But now as an adult, I get it and I understand partly, right, why they did some of the things that they did, or why my mama would go to Popeyes and get a whole bucket of chicken when she didn't feel like cooking, and I didn't want no bucket of chicken, but it was what we needed to do to survive the next couple of days, or things like that. I think our parents did the best that they could.
Right. And I think it was the right thing. In most cases, I think it was the right thing. But it's like like I said, the $30 you can make some spaghetti for like $10.
Listen,
that thing, what the if you want to go cheap with it, right? So you get the pasta's $1, the turkey or the
10 for 10.
What is that? 10 for 10.
That 10 for 10.
So you can get the pasta's about $1, $2. The meat, depending on if you get turkey or beef or whatever you want. We'll say about
you get that beef, but you get that 70% lean, so it's cheaper. It's $2.39.
So that's what $5. We'll say $5, $2, $3. So you can feed a whole family and stretch. You can buy some garlic bread, the frozen garlic bread. You can buy some mushrooms or whatever you want to throw up in there or whatever for like $10.
Now, if you from this, I'm from. If you gonna cook the spaghetti, you need to fry some chicken or some fish going on this. To go on the side. Don't you be putting no spaghetti? I'm gonna be asking you where the meat is. You gonna say in the spaghetti? So
fish to you is a the spaghetti's a side.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, ultimately.
Okay.
As an adult, it has become an entree because I do most of the cooking. So there are times where I know I can make it fast. Like you said, it'll stretch. And especially like when I was in grad school, like spaghetti, that's at least 2 dinners. At least 2 nights of dinner, right? And 2 lunch and all that kind of stuff. So like, yes, but my mom was like straight up old school South. So it don't matter how tired she was. She cooking spaghetti, she frying some chicken. Or she frying some fish.
And she cooks good
go
fish.
With it. And there's some slaw on the side. It's like that. I mean, and that could have literally been, bro, a Wednesday night dinner. But yeah, man, like I think we understand why they did what they did, but that does not mean that we always liked it. And I think that just kind of leads us into this concept of adulting. Like now that we're in it, like again, some of the things that I like is being able to have the freedom that I long for as an adult.
Right.
I mean, as a child, like I appreciate, right, the ability to get up and go and to do, but it comes with a lot of prerequisites, right? So for me to be able to get up and go, like to have a car, I gotta have a job, which means that I have to work. I have to do all these other things that I don't feel like doing. Dealing with white people when I don't want to feel like dealing with them, and all these other types of things. Dealing with police officers, right? Especially in this climate. Like as an adult, like my experience. Well, let me not take that back because even Tamir Rice is an example. Children have interactions, but you know, as an adult though, it's more likely because I could literally just be driving, and if I see a police officer, it is the looking in my rearview mirror for the next mile and a half, 2-3 miles, seeing if I'm being followed. Like those are fears as an adult that I didn't have as a child. Having to pay rent every month. While I understand that I have to pay for where I live, like the fact that I gotta do it.
You're right.
It's something that I don't like, you know what I'm saying? And then when you talk about the thermostat, like we live in Georgia. It gets hot. Right. So sometimes I want to put that thermostat on 70, 69, whatever it is. But I also know when I look at that bill next month and that joint is $400, like we gonna put on some fans and I'm gonna sit in this house in my drawers. Whatever it takes to stay cool. But like, what are some of the things you dislike about adulthood?
Most of the stuff that you said, it's I think the stress of responsibility. Okay, so you're a husband, right? And you are an involved husband, and you are a father.
I try to be,
and you are a father.
I try to be,
and you are an involved father. Right. So being an involved father, an involved husband, and then also doing like other things like extracurricular activities and stuff like that. It comes with like a certain level of like stress and like pressure to continue to be all things to all people at sometimes. And then not dropping the ball. You know what I mean? So it's like that pressure of like I say, like, you know, marriage and like fatherhood or parenthood is like you can't take a day off. You know what I mean? Like you want to take a day off.
Oh yeah, there are no days.
But you can't take a day off because if you take,
it's like the NyQuil commercial. Like there are no days off for parents.
Right. There's no off days. So I think that's the thing that I did not realize or took for granted was the fact of like that stress, that everyday pressure of, you know, providing for, and this is not just providing, you know, financially, but providing, you know, emotional intelligence and, you know, being there for my wife and, you know, caring about feelings and, you know, recognizing when she's feeling a certain way. So all those different pressures and stress, that's like, that comes with adulting, but even certain levels of adulting. But even if you were like single, there's still like pressure to, you know, just, I think there's like a meme that says, you know, the pressure to be on time for work and work out and text friends back and eat right, you know, and that pressure of just doing all of those things is definitely something that can wear down or, you know, beat you down or, you know, and we talk about it usually in like Black men self-care, but that's a real thing is the stress and the anxiety that comes with it, just being an adult and being a, not just being an adult, being what we would consider a responsible adult, right? Making the decisions to do the quote unquote right things is a certain level of pressure and stress I just really do not like.
And I think part of that too comes from like almost, and everybody was raised different, like it has different backgrounds, but kind of what we respond to in pressures is partly indicative of how we were raised, maybe what we had, and maybe in some cases what we didn't have, right? Because I remember on the Daddy's Issues episode, you and Chris specifically talked through like Chris, you know, his outlook of being a future dad, and you kind of stepping into the newness of fatherhood, kind of operating in this space of, I know what I did not have. So I also know what I want to do. And sometimes that pressure kind of makes you, in some ways, like do a lot. Right. And not that that's a bad thing, right? But because you are so fixated on like Brooklyn won't have my experience. Right. I'm going to make sure blah, 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 blah. And I think the same thing. I mean, like, I had a really good dad. So it's almost like, okay, how can I be, you know, like JB 2.0. And I think sometimes it is an unfair pressure that we put on ourselves as adults, whether it is positive influence or, I don't necessarily want to call it negative influence, but like whatever the influence is, and us trying to be better than or overcompensate or live up to the standard. I remember, R.I.P. Bill Cosby, but I remember I remember the Cosby Show. There's an episode where, and it ended in comedic relief when Heathcliff and Theo were having a conversation, doing a Monopoly money. He wanted to be a regular person, blah, 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 and all these different kind of things. And the conversation ended basically with Theo saying, you know, why can't, I may not ever be a doctor. I may not be a lawyer Mom. Why can't you love me for me? And although, you know, in the moment Heathcliff was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You know, but at the end of the conversation, he also fixed it and was like, hey, you don't have to be us, but it also doesn't mean that you have to be mediocre. And I think that is a conversation that we don't have often enough in the Black community. Because I think because we talk about the Black tax, and I think a lot of times as children, we are pressured to be the best. And we have to work 3 times as hard. And while I believe a lot of that is still true, especially to compete, I also think what it does is it ingrains in us this kind of false responsibility that we have to consistently live life like that, even within our own communities and in our relationships. So while, yes, I do have to compete to be better than my white counterparts, I shouldn't have to fight, you know, for love at home. I shouldn't have to fight, you know, do all these extra things to be the best dad or the best. I should be able to just be the best version of Josh, continue to learn and grow. Like, I don't ever want to stay like stagnant or mediocre, but at the same time, not feel this pressure. And I think as children, like, those kind of lessons weren't explained, and it's often masked with just do what I'm telling you to do, or just listen, you know, or this right there. But it's like me and Ashley are really trying our best to raise emotionally intelligent children. So some things we tell Josh, and we just had a conversation with Josh, some things, what I tell you as your parent is my expectation of you. So if I do say go clean your room, there is no why. Like, boy, go clean, like go clean your room. That's like there is no deep, you know, philosophical moment. There is no emotional, like, we ain't got to go through all that. Negro, go clean your room. But there are other moments in which, I could ask him to do something, and I stop and explain it. I need him to understand why he's doing it, why I'm telling you to do. It's like when he first started taking out the trash. Like, the first conversation we had was this Bill's responsibility, and I may be the parent also, because I didn't work in high school either. So I probably will also be the parent that won't allow my children to have a job, and if they do, it's gonna be super limited or super focused on like their future, you know, whatever. So, you know, but I had to explain to him, you know, even though I didn't give him this much, but in my mind, while you may not have a job or may not have a job in the future as a teenager, you will have responsibility. You will know how to clean up. You will know how to take care of things. You will know how to manage the little money that I do give you. So all those type of things, I do think sometimes the generation before us missed the mark and kind of preparing us for what adulthood was, more so than they just they gave us a lot of life skills without a lot of real preparation to really use those life skills.
And to your point, like, I think the thing that I hated about being like a kid, you know, and then, you know, that did not prepare me for adulting was really like the explanation of the why. Excuse me, because if I asked like why, it'd be like, you know, because I said so. Ask me why. You know, because I said so. Yeah. And it's, you know, and I think some of those things and some of those conversations that could have been had that kind of could have made adulting easier, and like some of the feeling of needing to perform could have been explained of like, you do this because of that. And it may not make sense to you now, but in the future it's going to make sense. And this is why it's going to make sense. So I think that's some of the, some of the stuff I think could have made things a little bit easier or better. I think another thing I really dislike about something I do like about adulting. I'm gonna say that. And I don't know if I do things as an adult because I couldn't do them as a kid. Okay. So I do dumb stuff like just opening all the boxes of cereal because I can.
You got like 5 boxes of cereal.
All of them. I'm opening all these boxes of cereal. I'm not waiting to eat this other box of cereal because that was not done. Like, right. You ain't about to tell me what cereal I cannot open up in my house. So I do stupid stuff like that, or leave shoes around the house because can't nobody tell me, not to do it. But then I didn't realize that you get married and then your spouse tells you, "Can you move your shoes? Leave those shoes. Get the shoes." I can't win. I thought I was grown.
Win. I do the same thing. Like with growing up, my mom would not let us like fall asleep on the couch. Like. You could probably like lay like on the corner, but like on my couch now, I like lay down on that joker and go in full nap mode. And I don't know if part of that is just rebellion, but this is my house. This is my couch. These are my rules. And what's funny is like when my grandmother would visit and my kids would have their feet in the couch, get your feet out that couch, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, we put our feet in the couch. I mean, like I don't, but like something like the kid in me rises up. It was like. You heard your great granny say, "Get your feet on."
Right. Because most people would say, you don't put your feet on the couch at home, and if they said yeah, then it'd be back talking like.
And my kids are the kids who will be like, yeah, and then when they get popped, they'll get like, why they get popped? Like, I just answered the question. But I didn't think about it like that. I think some of the things that we probably do subconscious and this kind of rebellion almost to what we could not do. As children. But one of the things I really want to like dig into a little bit about adulting is the process of unlearning stuff, like the stuff that was just wrong. And some stuff was just dumb and wrong, right? Like it was against the law to drive with the light.
Like who? Like I don't want to know. Like that's the funny thing. I think the funny thing is
light on in the car.
Like I love about black culture because we got some rules. We have some rules. And I guarantee you, in our friend group, we got people from Atlanta. We got somebody from Asher's from what?
Minnesota, St. Paul.
I'm from California. My wife's from Virginia. The homeboy Marcus is where is he? We don't know where he's from. He's from either South Carolina one day.
He's from South Carolina and Atlanta.
So in our friend group, and then even some of your college friends too. I'm pretty sure, or most black people we know, we're going to have the same stories. And I don't understand where. That you cannot drive with the light on, or it's illegal. Where did that come from? Like,
it's annoying.
It is. It is. It's like no one wants to do that, but I don't understand where it was illegal.
Yeah, because like today, I thought it was funny because I actually thought about it today. What was I doing? I was getting So I stopped by an ATM to deposit some cash. And I was putting my card back in my wallet, and as I drove off because it was dark, I cut on a little light, and I just kind of laughed to myself internally, put my card back in my wallet, and moved on. And I say like it's annoying because like that light is just in your face while you're driving, and it's dark and it's just there. But who said it was illegal? And there's the other thing. I don't think children wanted to necessarily touch it and turn it on until you told us that we couldn't.
And I think that's the truth though, because I think because my mom had a Nissan Sentra when we were growing up, so there was that light in the back of the car, and I used to just turn it on just to see just so she'd be like turn that light off, turn that light. It's illegal, and I always want to know like why is it illegal, and I think I Googled it when I got older.
And figured out that it just isn't.
It is not.
It is
that
not.
Was a lie.
And I think so many things that some of the trivial things that we unlearn, even like my mom is a stickler for ain't no white after Labor Day. You putting on ivory bone.
That bone, the eggshell.
That's what it is, bone. And And but that's how she grew up, right? And she holds on to it, and she taught me that. So, and to this day, I still struggle, Brian, putting on like, of course, like not all white, right? But like white. Like my mom be like, I'm not buying no white sweater. That's a spring sweater if it's white. Like, you know, so like, but some of those things I really struggle, and I'm trying to unlearn because I know that culture has shifted, times have changed, like things have just shifted in the way that we do things, and just how we navigate school, how we navigate work. Like I remember one time I was telling my mom that I was going to look for a new job. She was like, "You just started this one last year." I said, "Okay," and I need more money, and blah blah blah. But she comes from a generation, right? She's been on her current job almost 20 years or a little over 20 years or something like that now, and she makes good money. She be getting these bonuses now, and as an empty nester, woman of God out here doing shopping sprees and all these other kind of things, and I get the benefits of longevity, but I also understand like a lot of times when you waited 5 years for a promotion, I can get it in probably another year and a half because I can go somewhere, build this experience here, go somewhere else, and market myself in a way that not that you couldn't, but you probably did not want to. And I think those are like concepts that we have to not necessarily pass down to the generation. You don't want to look flimsy on your resume, but at the same time, you don't want to sit in a space where you're undervalued, you're underappreciated. You got people coming in off the street, getting hired above you, and you've been there 10 years. Like, absolutely not. And I can just go somewhere else, and I can start at a manager spot or a supervisor spot or a director spot or, whatever it is. So I think the process of unlearning as an adult, while uncomfortable, it is necessary.
Right. I agree with that. I think the interesting thing is, so and a perfect example is, there was a time where we did a lot of online church.
Okay.
And the older saints was like, you can't have church online, and you got to be in the Lord's house, and even like old stuff like you got to wear a suit to church and stuff like that. And as an adult, I was like, I ain't doing none of that. And then now a lot of the stuff that they thought like was just impossible, they're kind of being required to do. I know when it used to become like I used to be late to church all the time. It just was what it is. And then I know my mom would always be like, are you late to your job? And I was like, well, technically
yes. I roll in that joker 15 minutes late.
Listen, because nowadays, it has changed. It's like more like flex scheduling. So you get there when you get there. Usually, you don't disrespect the time, but you get there when you get there and you leave when you leave. You know what I'm saying? But I think some of those things where,
because I leave, Reverend.
Listen. I don't care what time I get there. I'm leaving.
And I'm still taking an hour lunch. I'm doing all the things.
I'm taking an hour lunch, and my lunch don't start till I got my food.
My lunch don't start till I start eating. So that fork goes, I say, now lunch has begun.
All of that. But the funny thing is, I've never been punctual. Even as like a kid or whatever. But like the funny thing is my mom when I was younger would always be like, oh, when you get a job, when you get older, you can't do that. Sorry, mama. I can do those things. But yeah, I think, but the thing is, I think punctuality is a thing that we need to do. We need to have.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it was good, but like I think that's an example of how like times change, and like nowadays, even though punctuality is important, in certain settings and certain circumstances, it's not as important as it used to be. So I think that's kind of an interesting example of how time has changed with some of those rules that they used to impose on us.
And I think to their credit too, like some of the rules that they imposed was because how they had to navigate life, right? So like for our parents, probably they had to be at work at 8:30.
Had to be.
And if they were late, they probably did get, I'm going to use an old school word, some demerits on their records, right? But for, like you said, for us, like the last job I was in, I asked what's my start time, and he was like, some people get here around 7, 8, others get here about 9, but he was like, everybody's in the office by 9:30. Exactly. So in my mind, I was like,
I need to be there by 9.
As long as I'm here by 9:30.
That was my thing.
And there were days where I got there like at 8, right? Because I knew I had a big day, or I know I needed to leave like at 5, so I'm getting there at 8 so I can crunch it out. And then there were days I'm like, I'm gonna sleep in,
right?
Because my boys go to school well at the time. Like I've always had the pleasure of kind of sleeping in or going back to sleep because my boys either went to school literally 5 minutes from the house, or now they go to the same school that Asher works at. So I don't take them to school. So I would wake up to help prepare them, and then get back into bed and go to sleep. So if I can get if I be like, I can get another hour of sleep in and still get to work by 9:30, like. There are many days I chose to do that, but like our parents didn't have that luxury. But I think for us, when you tell us we're salary, we like unlike our parents, or I don't want to throw it on our parents, but just previous generations, right? Instead of just accepting what salary means I don't have to clock in. No, salary means is that because now that I can't get overtime,
right?
It comes with these benefits of having like flex time, and flexible hours, and if you want me to be able to be on the clock in a sense almost 24/7, because that's kind of what they expect from salary. Then at the same time, there are ways in which I need to be able to be very flexible in how I work and when I work. So that means that there will be a day I'm going to come in at 9:30 and I might leave at 4:30,
right? And
I would have taken a whole hour. But when I get home, I also might respond to an email at 10 p.m.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or finish out some report at 9:30. You know what I'm saying? Because the client just asked for it, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So I think that they gave us rules and regulations based on how they had to navigate life without thinking toward the future.
Right.
And what I'm trying to be cognizant of is that I don't know what, let me see, Josh is 9, and in 10 years he'll be 19, so that'll be 2030. I don't know what 2030, I hope 2030 is nothing like the trash that is 2020. But I don't know what 2030 and beyond looks like, but what I do know is that I want to be able to just give him really good him and Jaden, really good character building skills, some technical skills, what they call soft skills, so that they can navigate any area, no matter what the changes are, right? So to your point, like even at Morehouse, they taught us, to be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late, and to be late is unacceptable. And I think that definitely has a place, right? You don't want to go to a job interview right at 9 o'clock. You kind of want to be there at 8:50, a little bit before. Even with your doctor's appointment, right? Your appointment's at 5. Like the doctor can't call you back at 5 if you're getting there at 5, right? So I think there are times where punctuality is important, but I also think that there are times and spaces where, like, especially if I'm the person, especially if we're going out. If you tell me your event, if it's just an event, we just kicking and it's not a surprise, or I ain't got to be there. You tell me it start at 10, don't you look for me to at least 10:30. Right. Because number one, I'm going to make an entrance.
Entrance.
Entrance. Come here, Regine. So that's number one. But seriously, number two, I also understand I think I saw a meme that said, if you ever get to a black folk event early, you have now become a part of the setup crew. Because we ain't starting that thing on time. That thing ain't starting on time. So unless you got food, like, we was over your house for Labor Day. I came there with my side dishes ready. The man of God is still grilling food. Lauren is setting up the table. And it's cool. Like, we weren't tripping, but at the same time, like, it's just, and I don't know, maybe it's a culture thing, but I think there are just ways that we have to be able to allow people to be flexible and to not be so rigid in how we live and how we operate. And I think going into adulthood, that's how we approached it, because we saw our parents live this very rigid and structured and scheduled and boom, 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 boom type of life. When in reality, like now I understand, my mom and daddy was winging it the whole time. It just looked real put together to me, but they were winging it.
Yeah, and I was about to say the same thing. I think, from the outside looking in, it felt like my mom she had a plan, but I know as an adult now, like, even though you may have a plan, like, life is going to pretty much tell you, like, F your plans.
F your plan. That's what Corona did to all of us.
All of us. And I think, but I think that's the kind of dope thing, I think, where even in our generation, is like the level of flexibility where we've kind of learned, to where when things do change, like, you got to be able to kind of, transition with whatever's changing or whatever's going on in life right now. So I think that's kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else was it like that, in terms of adulting that I feel like.
Can I add one that I don't like? It's insurance.
Oh.
On every level. That is the biggest scam of adulting.
Scam.
I pay you money on top of money every month, hundreds of dollars. My car insurance is gonna hit my account tomorrow. Today, as you're listening, it's the 17th. It comes out every month on the 17th. I ain't been in an accident in about 5-6 years. And none of the accidents I've ever been, I've only been in 2, and they were both, neither one of them were my fault. But I pay these premiums every month. Even with my health insurance through my job, we pay these premiums every month, and then I gotta pay you a deductible to access the money that I've been pouring into every single month. Like, it is the hugest scam ever invented. And the fact that they become, and here's the racism piece.
Go for it. It's always a good time to talk about racism.
Right, always a good time to talk about racism. Fact that they become barriers for us to access necessities, healthcare, right? People, like, I know there's like the African American community is disproportionately affected by a lot of diseases because of the lack of access that we have to health care, which means that we don't get treated for certain diseases because, baby, I can't afford to go to the doctor, right? And even with car insurance, like, we find out if somebody gets into an accident, God forbid, then they run the risk of going to jail because they were driving without insurance, or they get arrested because they couldn't afford it, or they only have liability because that's all they can afford. Even with your homes and what you rent and things like that, some people find themselves in terrible situations, natural disasters or whatever, and they didn't have insurance to cover their items because they just can't afford the extra $100 a month or whatever. And what is affordable is relative. So I don't want people to say, oh, renter's insurance is only $30 a month, but like that 30th check, I got to pay rent, I got to pay utilities, I got to pay this. If I got kids, like, so that $30, like, we just talked about how $30 can be a meal, like 3-4 meals, right? So that $30 legit could be the difference between me paying renter's insurance and me having food the rest of the week.
Right. And in most cases, like you said, when it comes to insurance, it's really a just in case thing. Like, even though it's important and it's so
now that's the thing. I'm not saying don't have it. It's just a scam.
Right. It's just in case something happens. And oftentimes nothing ever happens. And speaking of scams, while we're talking about it, Uncle Sam, you are trash. These taxes that y'all take out.
Taxes
are trash. Like you just take money. Like, I work hard for this, and you just take it before I even get it.
And if you feel like you didn't take enough, you take more during tax season. I owe you more.
I pay taxes monthly or whenever I get paid, right? And then when you feel like you didn't take enough from me earlier, like, that is like the most upsetting thing. And then they tell you if you have kids, you get your tax check is bigger. No,
I still owe money.
No.
I got 2 cross statutes and I still owe money because we went up in our tax bracket.
Right, and that's another thing. Like, when you get successful, like, you get successful. The more you get success, then the more money they take. And then although you're making more money, it feels like you're not making more money because they're taking more taxes. So taxes is trash.
And here's the thing: like, I am a liberal, so I believe in taxation, and I understand why. People are taxed the way they're taxed. What my grief is with you, Brian, though, is that a lot of, especially for people who are low income, it hits their, let's just say everybody was taxed evenly at like 5%. Okay. What's 5% for me is very different for what's 5% for somebody making $20,000 a year. Like, that 5% hits them a lot harder than it would hit me, right? But that's not the case. But either way, right, for them to be on the upside during tax season and things like that, they have to usually get more taken out of their checks so that they can either have some modicum of a refund or, kind of everything balances out. So I think for me, the scam of taxation is just that apparently Uncle Sam never has enough.
Never.
But I also think that if we understand how we tax some of the most, like the fact that Jeff Bezos pays no taxes and I owe you money and I'm not nowhere near, like, Jeff Bezos probably wipes his grandchildren's butt with my salary.
Like, that's nothing. He makes that, with a blink of an eye.
Right, literally makes it within a blink of an eye. And I owe you money during tax season, but this dude pays no taxes. And I don't want to hear any of you Hotep Negroes talk about, well, that's just how it is. It ain't a scam, blah, blah, blah. No, there's no reason why the world's richest man does not pay taxes.
And even within that, like I said, going back to your point as far as being liberal and understand taxation, like I don't mind, I don't mind paying more taxes because I understand, like if my tax money is going to those who may need those additional resources or there's assistance and stuff like that, I get it. So in the short of it all, I hate taxes, but if it goes to the good cause, I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm. But then you have a person, who was like Jeff Bezos, who does not pay taxes, and he also does not give money away. So it's like you're allowing this person literally to rob, or not necessarily rob, but he's basically accumulating all this wealth and all this, money, and he's not doing anything with it. Where meanwhile, people like us, we usually volunteer, we usually give our money, we give our money to different charities and stuff like that, and we still pay taxes. So it's like, it's that to me is extremely frustrating, and they have all these tax loopholes and stuff like that. So that is annoying. Taxes are trash. I did not understand the level of talking about racism as an adult. Mm-hmm. I did not know the level of inequality or lack of equity. As an adult person of color. But then I will shout out to our parents who did say, give us the conversation, which all black kids usually have. We're not told that we're less than, we're just told we have to work harder. But I don't think I really understood the level of the inequality or the lack of equity and the fight that it would take just to get the bare minimum. The bare minimum, right. That's what I hate about adult. I understand that it may have been happening when I was as a kid, but I didn't understand it. But as an adult, that extra level of just, having a fight, as the woman of God from one of your favorite movies says, all my life, I had to fight.
Listen, that is my, can we pause on the calls and bless God for the beauty that is The Color Purple?
Isn't it something?
Oh, my Jesus. It is, and it's on Hulu, and I can watch whenever I want to now.
Really? Okay. I'm about to go check that out.
It's on Hulu. I can watch. People pay for 2 hours and 45 minutes of your life to be consumed. But I think that's true. And I remember every school year, I would go to my grandma's house, either within the first couple of days or within the first week, and I would tell her about school. And her first question, Brian, your teacher, is she a white woman or a colored woman? So the idea that I had a male teacher was just not there, right? Generational. Mm-hmm. And then secondly, like white or black. And for her, she wanted for me to say a black teacher because she also wanted me to have that influence of blackness and kind of see, even though if it was a woman, still seeing myself, at least in my race, while being educated. And she would end the conversation by saying, you gotta get it up here, because you get it up here, they can't take it from you. And like as a kid, I was like, all right, grandma, whatever. But as I get older, and as I entered, and even before I entered like full adulthood, I really began to understand what she meant. And one, my grandmother only has a 10th grade education.
Okay.
So, because she was the oldest girl, right, born in the 20s, so that kind of that environment, she had to be like the second mom almost. But her point is that whatever you learn, like they don't have white people or people in systematic positions, right? She didn't explain it, but growing up, I began to understand that the way the system is built, they can't take away what you have learned and what you have digested, and what you gained in your brain. So get everything that you can so that you can fight these systems and be better. Right. And part of me wishes, like when my grandmother was giving me this sage wisdom and a one-liner, then my dad would sit me in the car and explain to me why she said that every school year, without fail, she would ask the race of my teacher and then end the conversation with the importance of me learning. She really wanted me to learn everything I can learn in those 9 months of school. And again, no fault to our parents, but as an adult, I now had to kind of figure out why it was so important. If my white colleagues are in a book club and reading a book where they're reading one book in the book club, but I need to read 3 books. So when I go to the book club, I can discuss it. I can have reference notes and other authors, all these different type of things, just to sometimes prove, right, that my commentary is worthy, that I understand the concepts within the book. And it's almost shameful that in certain spaces we have to almost be performative to show that we can keep up.
Right. And and like you don't realize that it carries over, right? Because we do the same thing at work. We do we have to kind of know more than everyone else in the room. So even though they ask one question, we kind of have to give more information to prove that we know what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand that, and I think that was something. Again, even though it was told to me that you have to do more, I think sometimes it wasn't necessarily the why of it all, and even sometimes the how of it all would actually be. So I don't know, but that's my adulting life.
So as we get ready to wrap up our this good old living room conversation, what are some things that you possibly can give our younger listeners, or some of our peers, about navigating the ghetto that is adulthood?
Let's see. Okay, so there's a few things. One is to, and I don't think I was really taught this, was to seriously consider your life plan. And I'm gonna say as a man, let me say that as a man, because I know sometimes young ladies, they are taught and groomed to kind of create this thought process, this plan of, this is when I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna go to college and do this, and I'm gonna do that, and this is my career is blah blah blah. This is when I'm gonna have kids. I don't think I really had any type of concept or was taught, like, as far as to consider all of those factors in, as far as when you have kids and going to school, and then considering the age of your grandparents as far as having kids later on in life and younger in life, stuff like that. So I would say consider a life plan. Like, what does that look like? Discuss that with yourself, like, as far as rehearse it, decide what you want to do. Of course, be flexible, because life, as adulting, will teach you that nothing ever goes according to plan. And then on top of that, like, just enjoy life.
Yeah.
Like, enjoy life. I don't really think, I think there were some years, and you can probably be honest, like, you were just working, because we were taught, like, as young people, we're taught, like, you gotta work hard, you gotta work hard, you gotta work hard, you gotta work hard. But I don't think there was really any emphasis on, like, vacations and enjoying life and really enjoying the fruit of your labor, and like, saving money is great, but, like, really enjoying the life that you have, not necessarily thinking about working all the time. Like, enjoy your time, enjoy your friends, enjoy your family. Like, you're not here to just work your life away. Like, really enjoy your life. And I don't know about you, but I think this year alone has kind of taught me, if anything, to enjoy just every day, enjoy my friends, enjoy my family. And I know good and well when 2021 and that ball drops, and hopefully Rona has gone to hell where she belongs, I'm gonna be out in these streets. Just so you know.
Listen, you know what? I agree, and I kind of want to piggyback on it in a sense where I would just say prepare for the unexpected in ways that are not traditionally taught. Right. And I think a lot of times we're taught to put money away in our savings account, which is great. For us to have 401ks, which is amazing, and have all these investment accounts and stocks and bonds. But I do think we should really look into more of investing in stocks. Things that I really wasn't taught as a kid. I think we need to begin to look at ways where I don't believe entrepreneurial life is for everyone, but I do think that all of us should at least have, even if we haven't developed it yet, have another way that we can make money. I agree. Because again, like, I got laid off during the pandemic, and I had a couple of hobbies, but because I had them, I was able to turn them into things that benefited me financially. So where I was doing something like with my workout accountability group, that's just what it was, right? But then I was able to like, you know what? Let me introduce them to like some of my style of working out. And now I have a weekly class of people who are paying,
which is
right,
great. It's
to
great,
work
by the
out
way.
with
Let
me.
me kind of pause for the calls. The J work is a great workout. I was actually there this past weekend, so shout out to that.
Yeah, I didn't have to shame him. But like, you know, I was able to do that. And again, I don't believe entrepreneurship is for everyone, but I do believe that, you know, even for like teachers, right? My frat brother, the one I'm closest to, my ace, is a third grade math teacher. And he got on Instagram during the beginning part of the pandemic in March and started teaching on Instagram ways that you can help your children with this new Common Core math. And he didn't do anything with it, but we did have a conversation that said, bro, like this could legit be a series where you could like sell a package of blah, blah, blah. And here we are doing virtual school where he could have, and this is no shame to him, but just he has the skill set, right? Where he could have legit been doing like consulting and having like these virtual classes or packages for parents to really help, because every school system is built different. So while my children they like go to school just on the internet, there are some schools, like I think Ash was saying in Minnesota where she's from, the teachers aren't teaching. Like they're legit just giving out assignments and they have office hours. So it's left up to the parents to do the teaching. And even though Brandon's in Memphis, who knows what parent in Minnesota would have saw that or been tagged in something, right? But anyway, my thing is, if you have skill sets or education and degrees and blah, 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 like I would encourage everyone to always be thinking about something that at some point you can monetize, because you just do not know when you're going to need it. You don't know if that monetization can also take you off your 9 to 5 that you're tired of or you're frustrated with or whatever. So that would just be my 2 cents. And I think, again, Rona has taught us that. But again, I think that was something that we didn't learn because our instructions were to go to school, do well, and get a good job. Right. Entrepreneurship wasn't even introduced like that, at least not to me. And, you know, so I think it is definitely something that, again, while I'm not telling nobody to go quit their job today, what I am saying is think about some of the skill sets that you have and begin to write out very plainly ways that you can monetize them, and then think about how you can implement it even just as a side hustle. Side Hustle, as another plug, Side Hustle Pro is a podcast I listen to, and she literally talks about that, how to monetize your side hustle. She's giving out a lot of free gems, lots of free gems. So check that out.
Okay, well, did you enjoy the living room today?
I did.
Yeah, you know, even though adulting is ghetto, you know, I really enjoyed it. But how about we pack this up here, and then we head on to Black Men Self-Care? What do you think?
Come on, I am my brother's keeper. Let's do it.
Woosah!
All right, so here we are in some Black Man Self-Care, where I am my brother's keeper is what we like to call it. And Brian, this week, I'm going to probably do a bit of socializing. Is what I'm going to be honest.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now, I'm not going to be out here irresponsible in these Rona streets, but one of my closest friends just had a birthday Wednesday. We found out someone from our college crew is coming in town Friday to help him celebrate. And my birthday, his birthday is Tuesday. His birthday was Tuesday. My birthday is this coming Wednesday.
Happy birthday.
So shout out to me for being 31 almost.
You're
and
in the 30s.
While I don't plan on going to nobody's club, because that is the ghetto in Corona. But I do want to be fully engrossed in love and celebration and socialization, and I'm going to do that in the best and safest way that I can, because I just kind of need and I deserve.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I think I'm just going to enjoy the kind of that hierarchy of needs, right? And is that interaction with other people. I'm going to do it.
Okay. Well, I definitely need the interaction with other people. Again, I can't wait till Rona goes away so we can interact in, another continent or another country.
Come on, continent. Coin.
Another continent, another country. Just somewhere else. I'm tired of being in the house. And I want to leave this ghetto we call the United States of America. I'm probably going to work out again this weekend. So
come on.
Looking forward to that. And I'm actually going to, not necessarily going to socialize, but I'm going to get out of the house. I'm going to get my hair cut. I'm going to do that. That's important,
It is, because if you can see me on this Zoom.
Listen.
Whew.
I look a mess.
But I'm gonna have on a good hat this weekend. So I'm not gonna even hold you. I'm not gonna even hold you.
Listen, I need this hair. Well, I'm not getting. I'm getting it cut, but I got it. And I think part because I have been doing the at home barber, so the barber was coming doing the house calls. But I gotta go.
You got money. You doing house calls.
No, sir.
Money.
No, sir. But now I think I'm just gonna go to the shop this time. My barber, he's dope. He has everything clean and nice and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go there. I gotta get out of the house. I'm tired of being here. So that's what I'm doing.
That's what's up, bro. Can we go and kind of scurry on to a greater conversation, because I have some things that I need to get off my chest. Okay, let's do it. Let's go.
Let me talk. Let me talk.
All right, so here we are in a greater conversation, and this is the piece and the place where we just kind of rant. And I just want to give that prerequisite before I begin to go in on the trash organization that is the World Olympics. So now, what I brought to the group was that the Olympics has banned a South African athlete because another competitor or other competitors are tired of losing to her. What they've decided to do, that there's this story about this South African runner. She's a black woman runner. Her name is Caster. I hope I'm saying this properly. Her name is Caster Semenya, and she is a very athletically built woman and naturally produces a lot of testosterone. So in order for her to compete in this next Olympic Summer Games, they saying that she now has to take these pills or medications to be able to reduce the level of testosterone that she naturally produces so that she can compete. And what I see it as is really, in the words of our Auntie Monique, it is gender bias. It is racial bias. But no, this is seriously though, because the same thing with Michael Phelps, they said that he had medical tests that proved that his body produces less than half of the lactic acids than his other competitors produce in the Olympic Games as far as swimming, and that gives him a kind of natural advantage. And they praised him and said how lucky he is to kind of have that, because it helps him as a swimmer. But when it becomes a black woman, they are now questioning the identity of her gender. They are now putting the pressures on her because she's black, and now she has to some way reduce what she does naturally, just so that these slow performing white women could be able to compete with her. What part of me really wants her to do is to take the pills and still kick their butt. That's what part of me just wants to do, just to prove a point. But the other part of me is a lot more bold and loud and say, well, I don't want you, sis, to miss the Olympics. What I don't want you also to do is compromise who you are and what happens to your body naturally, just so that white people can feel better about themselves. If you cannot compete, if you can't beat me, then here's the thing. You're not better than her. You're not better than her. So you're mad that just your white skin is proving that you are actually that she's not inferior to you in this moment, because she naturally produces more testosterone, which is making her stronger. But do you also understand that she could probably still produce all this testosterone and probably still not be a skilled runner? Like, that doesn't make her faster. That doesn't mean that she would understand the ways in which she needs to pace, how she needs to breathe, she still has to train. Like, I produce more testosterone right now because I work out, but I couldn't go out and do what some other people are doing as far as athletics are concerned, because I'm not adequately training to do that. So it really does not matter what kind of rationale they put in it. And she actually lost, Brian, her appeal in courts to go against this ruling that they did. I think it is egregious. I think it is sexist. I think it is ridiculously racist, because this would not happen to another white woman. As we saw with Michael Phelps, this does not happen to another white man. And the fact that you are imposing this among our South African sister is absolutely asinine. There is no reason why any questions about who she is and how she presents and, and how her body just kind of naturally chemically produces should come into question because other folk cannot win. Like when she reaches a certain age, she will be out of Olympic competition. Right. So that's the thing. It's kind of like the Williams sisters in tennis. Like they for a season, nobody could beat them. I mean, nope. They just now kind of start losing to people, right? But like that was not like you can't say that they tried to do that with Serena a little bit by kind of censoring how she dressed and what she did. They were trying to find ways to tone her down, but none of that really stopped the excellence of who she was. And this is what you're trying to do. You want me to diminish myself naturally just so that you white people can feel better and want me to continue to be inferior to you. It's not happening. And you're trash. I don't care how old your organization is. I don't care how established it is. I don't care any of those kind of things. You are trash. You deserve to be in hot, flaming garbage. You deserve to experience the same kind of hell COVID-19 is experiencing for the kind of rules and regulations that you are imposing specifically among this black woman. So keep your head up, Miss Castor. I hope I'm saying that. I'm not going to even attempt your last name again. But Miss Castor over there from South Africa, like, keep your head up. I know this is a blow to your career and everything that you've worked hard for and everything that you fought to do as far as your athletic pursuits and endeavors are concerned. But I promise you, there are some of us who are fighting and advocating on your behalf and behalf of other amazing black women who have some of the same fights, right? Not just in sports, but in corporate spaces where they try to get them to diminish who they are and bow down to their intellect. I was just watching Girlfriends, and there was an episode where all the male attorneys was over talking her, and they wanted her to kind of not be as aggressive in the room because as a woman, she didn't want to come off as being too much. They tried to blame it on her period and all these other types of things. Like, we have to get past the fact that women cannot, that it is almost unfathomable that women can't be as strong and as powerful as men. No, they have the right, the capacity, and everything else to lead and to even be better in certain areas than anybody else is in the room. And for a matter of fact, I think black women specifically are our first line of superheroes. Right. So we cannot ever diminish their power. But I thought this was absolutely stupid, and I want the Olympics people, everybody who making the decisions, to know how trash you are, because I'm almost positive that decision was made within a room full of old white men.
Yes.
There probably wasn't a woman anywhere in the room. So, trash. That's all I got.
Trash, and more trash. I'm gonna go in a different direction. Joshua, where do I start? Let me start off by saying this. I do support good policing, good police officers. I do also support the police reform. We need to dismantle some of this stuff to rebuild better, bigger, and better. I do not condone in any way any violence toward police officers. I know that they, are doing their jobs. And I have family members who are in law enforcement. Joshua, you have family members who are in law enforcement. You also, lost someone who is in law enforcement. So I do not have any issues or ill will toward good police officers. All right. So, two police officers recently in the LA County, Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, were shot recently and hospitalized, things of that nature. So shouts out to them, prayers up to them. I don't want to see anybody die. However, Sheriff Alex Villanueva, on an radio interview, decided or thought that it may be wise to, thought it was cute to kind of challenge LeBron James. And he said, I want LeBron James to match double the reward, which is about $200,000, match the reward that we have up right now for the person to catch the person who shot those two police officers. Basically what he tried to do was try to kind of put LeBron James on the spot and kind of make it seem like, oh, LeBron, if you say you care about law enforcement, you say you care about the race relations with the police officers, law enforcement, and the black community and stuff like that. And if you really say you are, or you do what you say you are, and you really care about police officers, I'm challenging you to step up the plate and do the right thing and show up for your police officers. So I just want to make mention that this is the same department or group who's actually being sued right now by the wife of the late great GOAT, Kobe Bean Bryant, and the mother of Gianna Gigi Bryant. She's actually suing the same department because this department actually, some of their 8 of their officers decided to take pictures. Or one officer decided to take pictures of the scene of the horrific crash that took place. And he took pictures of Kobe and his daughter and all the people that were on the helicopter. Took pictures, and then thought he was so cool that he would want to show these pictures off to other people. And he showed these same pictures, and he shared these pictures with other people. And this same sheriff, whoever his name is, Villanueva, he did not, I don't think any of these people were fired. They were, quote unquote, were disciplined. But here you are, you're trying to sit there and call out LeBron James about trying to put him on the spot about trying to double the money or do things of that nature to hold LeBron James accountable when you're not even holding your own police officers accountable. Here are you trying to call out LeBron James, who, mind you, is really good friends or was really good friends with Kobe Bryant. The same person who you allow to have this man's dead photos, the bodies of his dead, the photos of his dead bodies, the photos of his daughter's dead body to be disseminated all over the world, all over the internet and stuff like that. And here you are trying to be cute and trying to act like you really care about the black community. Please stop lying. The thing that bothers me oftentimes about the police departments who try to act like this and try to bring up race or try to call people out is that the same energy that you have trying to call people out and try to say, oh, you can do this if you really cared about that. You don't really care about it yourself, right? Oftentimes this is the same guy who sat there and said, oh, it seems like these athletes and stuff like that are fanning the flames of hate and things of that nature. Last time I checked, LeBron James is not a police officer. Last time I checked, we are citizens, and their job is to protect and serve us. Last time I checked, those trash taxes that we were talking about pay their salaries, right? So, it's not about us trying to bridge that gap and be good to you. It's your job to be good to us because you are the protecting and the serving of us. Granted, I don't condone people treating police officers bad. You know, they are human beings, you know, stuff like that. But keep that same energy when it comes to you trying to get justice for your police officers who got shot. Keep that same energy with Ray and John and stuff like that, and really putting up your money to find these people's killers. There's people that get killed all the time. Like they say in Paid in Full, people die every day, B. Right? Keep that same energy when it comes to trying to find other people's killers. Keep that same energy when they call people out and ask for help and stuff like that. And you want to put people on the carpet, call your own people out when they're doing the wrong thing. And the problem that I really have when it comes to policing, even when it comes to them doing things the wrong way or like shootings or brutality. The problem I really have with it is the lack of accountability and disciplinary action. Like the people that actually go along with it. Say for instance, these same Karens and Kevins who justify police brutality will want the server who brings out their food cold to have their job lost. But quick to call the manager. But when somebody actually kills somebody or when somebody beats somebody up, you have an excuse of why they were just doing their job. No, police officers, you have the right to serve us. That is your job. We did not hire you. We did not elect you. You went down to that place. You signed on the application. You went to police academy. You decided to put on that badge and that uniform every day. Blue lives do not matter because they do not exist. Let me say that again. Blue lives do not matter because they do not exist.
Holy macadamia!
They do not exist. Your job is to protect and to serve. So before you want to call out somebody and say that someone is spreading hate and fanning the flames of hate, if you do your job right and you hold those accountable that are doing their job wrong, then we will have no problem with you. But instead, what you want to do is, when you do your job wrong, you want to blame the person who you did the job wrong to, and then act like everyone else is just crazy because you can't do your job, right? So again, I love good police officers, but it's time for those good police officers to really openly rebuke and call out those bad police officers, so then therefore you can have a better society. And there I have it, but you know, I'm not on some F the police type stuff, but y'all need to get it together because you know, this ain't cool. And justice for Breonna Taylor, that $12 million ain't nothing. We want justice. They need to go to jail. And that's where I am. I'm gonna chill before I get too mad.
Well, and I think you know what that means. This has been another episode of the Jigsaw Podcast. That's been another episode of the Jigsaw Podcast. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for tuning in. As you know, that you can follow us individually at I am Brian Hare and I am Josh Rogers. You can follow the podcast at the Jigsaw Podcast or write in. Please write in. We would love to hear from you. By writing in at to the Jigsaw Podcast at gmail.com, and be sure to spread the word about the podcast. Like us, rate us, positive ratings only, 5 stars only.
Amen.
5 stars only, and we appreciate y'all for all your support. Brian, do you have any announcements you want to throw to the people?
Do I have any announcements? I don't know if I have any announcements. I love black people. Does that need to be said? I think it needs to be said. I love protect black women. That needs to be said. That's an announcement. So I don't think I have anything else.
I don't have anything either other than you can join me to work out Saturday.
I'll be there.
Join the workout, so go to the website and register for that. But I think that's it.
I think that is it. So Josh, please tell the people what they need to do.
They need to never allow the ghetto of adulting and this world to stress them out. Because let me tell you something. All you can do is do what you can while you can. But you know what, Brian?
What?
We will never get caught.
Never.
With our work undone.
Yes, Lord. Never.
All right, y'all. It's been a good one. We see y'all next week.
All
That's
right,
it.
peace.